Hey everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Kevin Halliday, a dynamic serial entrepreneur from Calgary, Alberta, whose career spans constructions, hospitality, and podcasting. As a founder of Spindle Stairs and Railings, Kevin has earned recognition as the top 40 under 40 Entrepreneur of the Year finalist and authorized the insightful book the Art of the Spindle Stairs and Railings. Kevin now hosts Shed Talk with Kevin Halliday, a podcast that explores the curiosity and unknowns of business and beyond. How you doing today, Kevin?
You know what? Thank you very much for having me on. And you know what? I'm very excited because what is it all about? I know a guy that knows a guy. And you know, us entrepreneurs, we love to know guys and women as well, because you know what? We want to expand our horizon. We want to expand greatness as an entrepreneur. And thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. You're definitely somebody to know. I know a guy, I know a gal, doesn't matter. If you're doing cool things, we want to talk to you. And I was super excited reading, looking everything up about you. And I'm like, it's probably easier to introduce you by talking about the two or three things you don't do. So I was really excited to have you on. So to start off, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
So where I'm located up is I'm on in the 51st state. So you know where Canada is, right? We're up there turning into 51. No, I'm kidding actually. No. We're actually in Canada. Alberta, Banff in that area. So we're way up in the north let's say northwest quadrant of Canada. Been here for about 100 years. From obviously Canada's been here for 100 years, and I've been in business for over 25, 30. Yeah, I've been in 30 years with my one company, Spindle Stairs and Railings, and I have multitudes of other companies in the fitness industry, hospitality industry. So I own bars, restaurants, nightclubs, Plexi company due to COVID, and how to create wealth during a downset when the bomb had gone off on COVID and everybody was, oh my gosh, it's over. This is the worst thing. As us entrepreneurs, what did we look at that and say, if everybody's the same, then we can create wealth. We can create something that nobody else has done. So what sets us apart from everybody else? And we always ask ourselves a better question. How do we do better?
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to take advantage of, just situations that are coming no matter what. And you have two options. You can either sit and stew in it. I talked to a gentleman the other day. His phrase was bitter or better, right? You can be bitter about it, or you can get better about it. So really like that. But to start, up in Canada, if somebody's never been, let's say they're coming up to visit, where are you taking them? What are you doing for fun? Where are you taking them to eat?
Well, first and foremost, if you're coming up to Canada, depending what time of year it is, if you're coming up during the spring, we have this thing what we call is the Calgary Stampede. It's one of the greatest outdoor shows on earth, and it's like one big stampede. So we've got a population of about 1.5 million in Calgary. We have what we call the Calgary Flames, hockey, if you're into that, Calgary Stampeders with the CFL, and then we've got the Calgary Wranglers. So we've got a lot of sporting activities. And during the summer, we would take you there. It's a 10-day festival, and it is absolutely wonderful. The whole city basically ties it up in a bow, and you party for a whole week, and you learn different things. And in Canada, where we're at in Alberta, we're in the oil and gas industry. So if you're looking like at Texas and stuff, we're like the duplicate there, where we would do it. So very, very flamboyant and very exciting. And then in the wintertime, we have one of the best skiing areas in North America, like our Banff, Lake Louise, all the way through there, and the mountains all the way through. You probably heard about Jasper with the Jasper fires during the summer, and then what happened there, and then where we're at now. We would take you to Banff. I would take people there. Now for food, I would take them definitely to one of my restaurants, and it's the Rooftop YYC, which is incredible menu and a credible facility that's outside. So I would definitely bring people there. So yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds good. Texas but colder. Yeah, I like it. So,
exactly.
you're doing a lot of things. What can you said you're going from fitness, from construction. Can you kind of touch on all the stuff that you're into?
Yeah. So when we go back as an entrepreneur, I started what we call is a company called Spindle Stairs and Railings. And it was interesting. I started that due to the fact is I did it, well, what it is, it's railings and we put it into houses like staircases and we do the supply and install. And when I started that business up, and that was I was a one-man operation, I started that, and now we have a couple hundred employees. And then as that was growing and looking at everything, I'd never ever installed a railing before in my life. Why? Because I made sure that I hired the greatest and best people to do that. And the name we call Spindle Stairs and Railings was the internet. And it was basically, let's be key name searches, Spindle Stairs Railings. And we were able to be the top of the SEO back in the day due to the fact is we were ideal name searches. So when, as an entrepreneur, starting up any business or anything you're doing, the first thing that they do that you may have the greatest idea is actually concentrate on the website, meaning your name. Keep it simple or whatever that is, your .coms, your .cas. That follows everything else behind you. And now with AI, where that's coming into play, it has totally taken us. So starting Spindle Stairs and Railings took off from there. And then I opened up fitness facilities. I was on another episode. We have call it up here like Shark's Tank is like the Dragon's Den. So I was on the Dragon's Den here and started up a company called Core Fit, Canadian Obstacle Race Fitness. And I saw a need, like, American Ninja Warrior, Spartan races, and Tough Mudders when they came out. Well, I was one of the first back in the day. And what I did is I manufactured the obstacles for these places. So then when they would come, then as a manufacturing the obstacles, so the warp wall and all that as well. And then I said, well, wait a second, I better have a training facility that's set up for people that want to do an American Ninja Warrior or a Spartan race, Tough Mudder, all the way through there. So I started manufacturing them and I opened up facilities to do that. And that's where I got on what we call is the Dragon's Den in Canada and got on there. And to this day, this goes back about 10 years ago, we're still one of the best pitches of all time in the fitness industry. And I was about 240 pounds. So I was overweight, sleep apnea, gout, all this stuff, and not feeling very good about myself, but I thought I was in shape. And then now, fast forward, I'm at 56 years old. I compete in competitive bodybuilding. I obviously don't drink, and I really focus my health, my wealth, and my mindset on going to the next level as an entrepreneur, as when you're getting older, you become wiser. And as you become wiser, you actually open up a whole new Pandora box that you're able to do things that you were never able to do as a young individual because people would never take you serious. You're over here, you're over here. We call it a jack of all trades or a star salesman. You're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. If you connect the dots, you become a star salesman or star person. But now you become very focused on everything that you do and have intentions with what you're doing. So as an entrepreneur, as you get older, you become a powerhouse in tools that you do.
That's awesome. You've done a lot of awesome things, SEO before people knew too much about SEO, getting in, making obstacles. Where are these ideas coming from? Are they all coming from you? Is it just like a collaboration of ideas or, getting an idea like that? A lot of us have. We're like, hey, you know what? This is a great idea. I want to take advantage of it. So how does it go from, the creation of the idea to the actual implementation and doing it? That's where a lot of us can kind of stumble.
You know what? And that's a really, really, really good question. That's one of the most key questions as entrepreneurs will go. And any young entrepreneur or anybody in business or anybody that's talking the question, and this is what's really interesting, and a lot of people don't realize 90% of your ideas never, ever go to fruition. Why is that? Because they're scared. They got that little guy on their shoulder that's saying, oh, you're not worth it. You can't do it. And what do you get it? What do they, I don't even know what's the name of that guy that they call him. It's he self-talks you and he says he's the negative guy and it's imposter syndrome, the imposter syndrome. The thing about it is 90% of the people have that and they believe it. Now, why did I get things done and where they became today and where they're good, bad, indifferent, but profitable? Is because if you say it, you become it, you do it. These guys that when we all have the greatest ideas in the world, we would have, should have, could have all over ourselves. You ever heard that saying, right? And the difference is when a guy that's very successful, we're all equal, we're all the same. The guy that's successful in everything that he does is actually, he becomes the doer. He's the guy that does it. When you say something, you become it, you do it. Regardless what that little guy on your shoulder says, he says you can't do it, you just do it. So when you ask me that question, and it was a great question, is that what takes people to go from this level to this level? It's just action. You don't have to have the right answers. You don't even care. Because if you did, it would already be done. The greatest people in the world are the ones that took action and took risk. Now, risk is a different analogy or a different, what we call would be the risk factors. Like, is it flight or flight, fight or flight? Risk could be anything that you interpreted in yourself that, oh, I can't do it. The risk is, there is no such thing in life as risk. you just do it. Because the risk is just, if you don't do it, nothing's going to happen. You're not going to go anywhere anyway. So people get too scared and too hung up on themselves because people really don't care about you as an individual. Care about yourself and make things happen. There's no such thing as risk. You just do it. You got Simon Sinek that talks about the why. Get your 5 whys, do your whys. Not that it's a bad saying or anything like that with Simon Sinek, how he's talked about his book that way. But when you really break it down to each individual to go forward, just do it. If you say something, just do it. You do one little thing just today, that will change the rest of your life. I always ask a question for somebody who would say, in the last 5 years, name me in the last 5 years that one thing that you did 5 years ago, really small little thing that you would say to yourself today that you would thank yourself for doing that 5 years ago. Then from today, ask yourself today, what's that one thing today that you would ask yourself and thank yourself 5 years from now to say, boy, I'm glad I did it today, building the foundation. And I'm going to use this as a podcast. When we talk about podcasting and we're putting ourselves out there in social media or we do whatever we're in, what we're doing is actually creating the foundation for today. Knowing in 5 years from now, we're going to shift, we're going to pivot, we're going to go into a different direction. But because we started it today, 5 years from now, you'll be the greatest podcast host. You'll be the greatest thing that you've ever thought you could have been and not seeing it coming. Yes, we might have visualized it. Yes, we did our plan of attack, our business model. But once you start it, you can't fail.
Entrepreneurs, we have millions of reasons not to start something. Oh, my webcam's not good enough. I'm using a gaming headset to do a podcast. Just doing it anyway and knowing that it's gonna grow. You're gonna get better every getting reps in, because you talk about fitness. When you go to the gym for the first time, then you get under the bar, you're doing something. You're not going to be where you're at if you do it for 6 months, or you do it for a year, or you do it for 5 years. You're gonna have that incremental improvement, and you're gonna get to where you want to go because you never start there. You start where you're at. So that's important to know. I really like that. And then, going back to fitness, you said you had your own fitness journey, and you were doing the entrepreneur stuff before, you're doing it after. How big of an impact does it make on your business just being healthier and feeling better on a day-to-day basis?
Well, you look at it, you don't know you're in jail until you break out. So you don't know you're in shape until you're in shape. And it's one of these things when I was in fitness, and I haven't been in fitness my whole life. Like, yes, I own gyms. I was 240 pounds, sleep apnea, gout, high blood pressure, AFib, bladder cancer. And yes, I had money. Yes, I had businesses. But the biggest thing about it is I was drinking every day, okay, from tension relieving or goal achieving. So I'd be drinking every day from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I'd go out with my buddies, have a drink, and trust me, as an entrepreneur, here I am talking about, hey, meet my buddies. Yeah, things are great. I'm knocking it. I'm killing it. I'm knocking it out of the park. I'm doing all this, having a great beer and getting this, having a buzz on, going home. And then all of a sudden going to bed and get up in the morning, do rinse and repeat, doing the same thing. But the difference happened is all of a sudden when you get older, then you realize you got a little more of a hangover, you get more of this. And then I had to realize, I said, what is it going to take to change and be really mindful and focused? And then all of a sudden, I start drinking. Then all of a sudden, I got clarity. I went, what is clarity? And that's when I talk about, you don't know that you're in jail until you break out. And you don't know what clarity is until it's actually there. And then all of a sudden, I'm clear. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I'm successful. Then all of a sudden, I was able to start another business up. And I was going, wow, that was easy. Then all of a sudden, I said, well, what would happen if I started losing weight? What happens if I start eating healthier? All of a sudden, the whole Pandora box, it opened up. Once that opened up, I couldn't believe the stuff that I could possibly do. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, wait, I could write a book. How hard is it to write a book? For a guy that doesn't read books, and all of a sudden to write a book and publish a book, self-publish it. And I looked at it, I said, it ain't that hard. I'm just going to do it. Sure enough, did it. And then all of a sudden, that was easy. And it's like David Goggins, and I don't know if you're familiar with David Goggins, and creating a mindset, and all of a sudden building calluses around it, and doing it, and repeat, rinse, repeat, and building calluses. In business, in life, in health, and everything that you do, it's all about the repeat. It's all about redoing. Trust the process. Yes, you got to be motivated. That's the starting point, but you're not going to be motivated. You got to be determined. Because remember, motivation is going to fade away. It's kind of like a marriage. People that get married for years, they love their wives right away or husbands or whatever, but they fall out of love. I don't care who you are, you'll fall out of love. So you have to stay into it to find love. So it's just like anything you do. You have to stick to it and be the best that you possibly can. It's easier to quit than it is to break through the barriers of greatness. So that's where the health and wealth and mindset came into play, is that all of a sudden I start looking after myself. And you had to truly ask yourselves, and as an entrepreneur and as an individual, do you truly love yourself? And I don't mean love yourself, oh, I'm going to give myself a hug, but do you truly respect yourself internally? Meaning, don't tell anybody, but did you actually do the best you possibly could today? And if you could sit there at the end of the day and say, you know what, I did the best, and not tell anybody, but just tell yourself, are you truly lying to yourself or somebody else? Once you've opened that Pandora box to yourself to say, you know what, I'm honest with myself that I am the best human being that I possibly can be today, and tomorrow I'll be a greater human being tomorrow. And only you can decide. You can't tell anybody else. Only you decide if you're having a great day. Only you decide internally. Once you realize that you're talking to yourself about greatness, everybody else will see that in you. And then you can say, here's my goal. And you're going to tell somebody else, hey, I'm going to do this. Yes, because they believe in your integrity. But you have to believe in internally that you truly believe in yourself, losing weight, getting in shape, eating the proper foods, drinking things, meeting the right people. And as entrepreneurs, we have to remember one thing. Do you have what we call balcony people, or do you have basement people? And you want your friends to make sure that they're balcony people. And I say balcony guys and girls or whatever. You want them on the balcony. The fact is, you want them to take you to the next level. You want them to be curious. You want them to ask you better questions, to bring the best out of you as a human being in anything and everything you do. Your basement guys are going to be your guys, and we have them and we love them, and they're all that. They're the guys that talk about the past. Oh, wasn't it great when we did this, and have a drink? Oh, we're going to do this, and they shoulda, coulda, woulda's all over the world. Those are the guys and girls that pull you into that basement friends. Not that they're bad, it's just different. And everybody has them. And so once you've decided what your friends are, who they are, and sometimes you have to give up your friends. You truly have to give them up. And not that they're bad, but for you to go to that next level and to be in a headspace and to be as an entrepreneur that you need to go to grow, you need those people to catapult you to be the best. You can't fall back. Society today is based on we only move as strong as our weakest link. So be the greatest link possible.
There were so many good things in there. I don't even know where to go. So I'm gonna have to go back and take notes for sure. So I really like that. You've been an entrepreneur for years. What is your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur? Because you've done everything a little bit. So just as a whole, what's your favorite?
Well, you know what? That's another great question, because as an entrepreneur, because people will look at as being an entrepreneur is about the title. Oh, I can't wait to be an entrepreneur. And what did you do? Did you create a job? Okay, for yourself, and then, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, so you created a job, so you're working in that job, in that environment, you're doing 9 to 5. So the difference playing is that you bought yourself a job, so you bought yourself the title. Now, entrepreneurs, that word's used way too loosely. This guy's an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be this. The bottom line is, again, I go back to you have to ask yourself internally, what do you really want? Now, people would tell you as an entrepreneur, oh, no, do something that you're passionate about. Go in there and be passionate and love what you do, and then how to do it. Be careful, because what you love for today may hate for tomorrow. And what I mean by that is that trust the process. Someone says, be passionate about the job you're going to do. Well, remember, you're not going to be passionate about that job later on. It's impossible. So you have to figure out why you like it. What are your gifts and ability? Are you a good accountant? Okay. Are you a good salesperson? Are you a great connector? So as a person, or as a whole of who you are as an individual, find out what your superpowers are. So I want to be an entrepreneur. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell this commodity. It's a widget. A widget is a widget, and business is business. So think of it that way. Remember, everything's the same. Business runs the same. But what we're looking for as an entrepreneur, what's your superpower? Now, are you great connectivity? Are you great at doing spreadsheets? Are you great on the computer? Find out what you're really good at, like the best. You're dialed in. You're that person. Then all of a sudden, do not do say if you're a great salesperson, do not do accounting. Don't even try it. Don't kid yourself. Yeah, but I got to do that because I go hire somebody. Find a way, friend, family, foe, whatever, get somebody that's great at that. Take your gifts and abilities. So if you're great at communicating, you're great at networking, network. Make sure that you really focus and don't be the shotgun approach, like that you hit everything. Be the sniper. Be that guy that snipers in on your gifts and abilities and hire the other guys. I get people that ask me this question and say, Kevin, your greatest thing as an entrepreneur, here you are, you're doing this. So remember, I own a company called Spindle Stairs and Railings. Now, the greatest asset that I put into that, and it's a beautiful company, I have the greatest employees in the world because your employees are important. They said to me, well, how did you start it? Did you have to be a craftsman? So to this day, I have never ever installed a railing before in my life. Okay. Yet I own one of the largest railing companies and I started from scratch. People go, how did you do that? You started a railing company. You don't even know how to do carpentry work. What is that? No, but because I understood what my gifts and abilities were. What I did is I hired great people. I hired people better, smarter, and faster than I am because they made me look good. Understanding you hire the right people, give them the tools they need, and get out of their way. And then you become the visionary and you become the orchestra of building this beautiful whatever company that you want because you get to basically sniper the right people in place. You get to see the growth and then change it. So you get to basically not just build a job, you're creating jobs and wealth for everybody. And it takes time, but you need to really focus in on your gifts and abilities. And that's where with Spindle Stairs and Railings, I would hire installers. Now, people that are installing, they're making this and really, and it's a tough industry. It doesn't matter. Everyone's going to say, oh yeah, but I can't find the right guys. I have to learn it. No, we find the right people. And I'll use an example for today about social media, podcasting and all that, and creative abilities with AI and how that's working. And we get to see the past, to see the future. But in the past, where we had the same problem, labor shortage and doing this, what did we do? Because I didn't know, and they're saying, Kevin, you should learn how to install. No, I hired people. Then I created a school that built on top of that. And I was able to 10x everything that I did because I was able to find better and smarter people. As that was growing, I knew once as an entrepreneur, you can have any company you want as long as you got the right people. So if you're a great salesperson, you can sell anything. If you're a great accountant, you can do your accounting everywhere and then hire the sales guy. Hire these guys, hire these guys. Is it hard? Of course it's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But that's what sets an entrepreneur apart is understanding what your gifts and abilities are, live within those gifts and abilities, and exploit yourself. Nobody out there is going to tell you how good you are unless you tell them. No one's going to say, hey, great job you're doing. Yes, they'll say the great job, but you need to tell them and say, you know what? I am the best out there. I'm going to show this world exactly what I'm all about, how I'm going to do, and I'm going to yell from the top of the screen, here, this is what I'm doing. And they'll believe you and they'll know you because you're going to lead the sheeples to tell them, why do they buy your product? Yes, you have to have integrity, of course. Price, quality, and service always has to be there. That's the baseline of everything that we do. And then from there, it's all about connectivity, making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to. In today's day and age with social media, this is the easiest market, the easiest thing to ever be great at, because where in life, okay, take this as an example. We're doing podcasts today. Okay, as an example, where in life today that we can communicate around the world in 30 seconds and know everything that's going on for the lowest amount of cost that we have right now. Now, buying ads or we're networking. Before you go back 10, 15 years ago, or actually probably longer than that, you'd have to do advertising, you have to do this, you'd have to go out there and put on a trade show. Now you have influencers, you have this. This whole pie is all about who's the best at being consistent. Yes, people may post, but are they consistent in a year? We talk about social media, about people doing this, and they're doing it. Hey, they're doing a great job. Businesses run exactly the same as social media. Consistency. Consistency in content. Yeah, content will come, it'll go up, it'll go down, but everybody has a hack about, well, you got to do this. No, don't do a hack. It's just like business. There's no such thing as hacking. It's about actually doing the work, putting it in, and being consistent every single time you do something in business. There's no other easier formula than that. The success that you get is by consistency. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Of course you do. Why? Because it's consistency. People do not like consistency. Why going to the gym? I always like entrepreneurs that I see at the gym and I see them on a regular basis because I know one thing, going to the gym, it sucks. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm there every day, and it sucks. And it's one of those things, but I have to. And once I'm there, it's like, all right, now I got to do it again, rinse and repeat. But once you're there, you're in it. Just like going to work. What am I going to do? What I got to do this. I got to do this. Visualization, building it, building it. And then all of a sudden, they say, oh yeah, but you're forming a habit. No such thing as habit. You just do. It's just it's like breathing. I don't have a habit of breathing. I just breathe. So why do we be what we be? This is where it comes to.
Yeah, well, again, a lot of great things in there. And, like going to the gym, yep, it sucks. But you're going to deal with an amount of suck every day regardless. So you can either deal with it on your own terms by going to the gym and being consistent and not dealing with the I'm out of shape suck, or that's going to be your day long one. So you get a pick. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So here with I Know a Guy, we're about, making connections and building networks, building people's circles. What advice, as somebody that's done everything that you've done, what advice would you give to somebody that's wanting to network, that's wanting to create genuine connections and build a circle, of people that they can trust and work with, like power partners?
Well, it's interesting. So there's a couple key components to that. So that question that you're asking, I'm going to go into a couple way. Is that we talk about social media, and I think a lot of people will go on social media and they see how do you become the most interesting man in the room? Okay, have you ever seen that before? Read this book, do this, do this, do this, and it's kind of funny because that's what I call as a hack. Now, is it true? Ask me personally, no, no. I'm going to give you the actual to answer that question. What does it take to network? What does it take to be successful? And what does it take to truly get connectivity and be the most interesting guy in that room? Okay, because it all ties up in a bow. And I always say this to people is like, okay, you're a young entrepreneur, you have a business. The first and foremost that you want to do, and you want to network, you want to be the best network. So what you're going to do is I'm going to go out there and do this and this and this and this. The idea is that, again, do you want to do the sniper approach or the shotgun approach? You're going to hit everybody and hopefully you get something. So what we've done, and I've practiced this, done this, and it's very successful. And this is kind of like this is a true thing. So I'm going to walk you through this. This is really cool. So we have a trade show coming up, okay, as an example. So I'm selling a commodity or widget, whatever the business that I'm in, but I'm going to a trade show that I have potential customers at, hypothetically speaking. So the difference is now how you do this and be the absolutely greatest person in the world. And by the time, and you'll run out of this with thousands of dollars and the greatest connections in the world. And how you do it is that you show up to a seminar or say an event that has a dinner or approach. And then what you do is you show up a half hour before it starts. What you do is you actually set up the event. You help the coordinators, the waiters, the waitresses, everybody set up. Now, you're not there putting stuff on the tables, but you're meeting and introducing yourself to the waiters. You're introducing yourselves to the bartenders. You're making sure that the bartenders in this room, because it's not a bar per se, it'd be like a convention. You'd be introducing yourselves to the bartender and say, hey, listen, my name's Kevin Halliday. Listen, I'm going to tip you right now. Here's $30. I'm going to tip you right now. So if I ever want a drink, I can get it, because usually they don't take cash. It's probably coupons or whatever that is, and that's fine. Or tags. So, but you meet them first and get their first name. Okay. This is the bar people. This is the waiters and waitresses, the organizers. Once you know them, because they are like your gatekeepers. So you have to think about this. This is strategically planning. These are your gatekeepers. Then all of a sudden, what'll happen in that environment, they'll also set up the table. There'll be a table somewhere in that environment that will actually have name tags. Now, before you've going to this event where you go and say, oh, I'm going to sign up, you should have an objective. Are you there to meet, sell, or close? Okay. So what is your cause of action? So the action is to get there and to get the most contacts that you possibly can. Sure. If you're looking for the most, or are you looking for the best? So you basically find out where your top five are. So we call it an 80-20 rule, right? 80% of your business is actually done by 20% of your customers. Same thing here. So you pick out who the top 20% that you want. There might be 5 of them. Remember, you only have usually an hour, because they usually have an hour of cocktails and then the rest is a dinner. So then what you do is that you have their names, where they're sitting, because they'll be at a table. So because you're helping out, you know where their name tags are, you know who's showing up, because their name tag will be there, and you know what table they're at. First and foremost, what you do is you get your business card, put it on their tables, okay, or in their name badges if you can. Some people can, some people can't if they have a name badge. if it a lanyard there. So you just put it in there, just whatever. Now, if you don't do that, that's okay. But at least you know where they're sitting, you know where they're going. And then all of a sudden, now everyone starts to arrive. You make sure you work in twos. You have two people. One guy's with you, and he's your wingman. That wingman means that you can only stay with a customer at an event for no more than 30 seconds to a minute, because you have a destination to do that. And your wingman is going to come in, introduce you, and you do your sales pitch, or not a sales pitch. I'm going to call your elevator pitch. You've done your elevator pitch, your talk, your call to action, and your call to action is take the business card and that you're going to call them next week. Once that's done, you get out and you go to the next one. They want to talk to you only, they want to do the same thing because they want to network. So you give yourself 30 seconds, and that guy that's with you, he takes over he does the introduction, you get in, you move out. Now, if there's bars, restaurant, like a bar around there that you need drinks, you use the bar guy and say, hey, can I get another drink? While they're standing in line, you get first serve on the drinks, you bought them a drink, and you basically have bypassed the lineup for basically getting, for them standing in line. They see that you've bought it, you've got the drink, and then all of a sudden now you're having a conversation. Now, you only stay in those events up to the dinner part. You have to become the conversation, but not part of the story. This is where alcohol is put into play. And it's a very cautionary thing. You don't drink at an event. You don't want to be a part of the drinking thing, because once you're in those environments and somebody tells a story twice, you become their story, and your credibility falls down. You need to be enough that you're in there, created a call to action, and then you've got in, you've got out, and you're making the phone call the next week to follow up, and they'll remember you more than if they saw you there having beers and they're your buddies and chums. Then you'll lose that sale. This is why I always call it, how do you become the most interesting guy in the room? Is basics, making sure that you've strategically placed yourself in the room properly, making sure that you have your call to actions properly, get in and get out before you become their stories. You want to become an illusion. You want to be that guy that, who was that? That's so-and-so. But you'll come up in threes because you'll be doing 3 phone calls to the next. And now they have integrity for you, or you have integrity. They'll have integrity and respect for you because they may be there for the drinking, or they may be for the social. And that's okay. But you're only there for one reason. You're not there for the social. Be cautious of why you're at these events for networking, because you don't want to be the story. You want to be the guy that they trust. Hopefully that's answering that question there.
Yeah, that was awesome. Again, I'm gonna have a lot of notes to take, but so what are some of the pitfalls of entrepreneurship?
Ooh, the greatest pitfalls in entrepreneurship is not doing it. That guy on your shoulder, the greatest pitfall is that waking up in the morning and you go, why didn't I do that? Oh man, why? And asking yourself, why didn't I do it? Versus you'll never ever say anything bad about yourself if you did it. If you tried, and that's where that inside voice comes into play. And I always say, if you can actually tell yourself inside that you did your best and you actually put it out there, you'll never, ever, ever fail. You can never fail. And when you're asking that question, and the thing is, the greatest thing is not doing it. The greatest thing is not going by your gut. And if you have a gut reaction that says don't do this part of it, don't do it. Like, so if this guy's a little shady and you're going to deal business with this guy, don't do it. And I want to get into, here's a thing about an entrepreneur that a lot of people kind of forget. They get into entrepreneurship with their friends. So they have two buddies, and here we are, you and I are buddies, okay? We grew up together and we're going to go into business together. Hey, this is great. We're going to get into business together. And I know everything about you. You know everything about me. And then all of a sudden I start to have an affair, okay? Now, all of a sudden I'm having an affair against my wife, and I don't want to tell my wife. I don't want to tell my wife, yeah, to keep that, and I'm doing this with you. And then all of a sudden, you and I are sharing this idea. Then all of a sudden, wait a second. If you're willing to have an affair against your wife, and I use this pretty severe stuff, if you're willing to have an affair with your wife, yet this is a guy you're going to go into business with, that means he would cheat on you. Now, it's not about the affair of cheating. The point of the matter is that he's going to hide his deepest, craziest secrets from his wife that's supposed to be the number one partner in his life, health, wealth, and mindset. Yet you're going to go into business with a guy that you know that he has a demon, that he cheats on his wife or he does whatever that is. I'm using that as an extreme, but you know these things. These are guys you don't go into business with. You may love him, you may think he's the best guy in the world, but all of a sudden he's got this agenda because everything's great when you start a business together, but all of a sudden when that business starts to go a little sideways, then all of a sudden he's talking over here about you and over there. Well, your past dictates your future. Who's the guy that's going to go into business with you and make sure that you're going to grow? Because when you fall down, you want to get back up. Who's your support group and team? So who do you use as a confidant? So you want to be able to basically, when you're as an entrepreneur growing up, make sure you have a great support team as a confidant. Now, the confidants and your support team, your coaches and stuff are not necessarily your friends, and they are not necessarily your family. And I strongly recommend when you're as an entrepreneur and you're starting out and you're having problems, stay away from your family. Don't go to your mom, your dad, and say, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And your friends, because they're all going to say to you, "Oh man, you're doing a great job, man. You're knocking it out of the park. You're doing really good. Man, I'm so proud of you. You're this." Of course you are. Of course, you know that. But you need real feedback. You need something what we call as a no ask. Now, a no ask means the person that you're going to talk to, okay, as your confidant or whoever they are, you want to make sure that they're not there to sell you. They're not there to go into business with you, because that's the worst thing, because all of a sudden they'll say, "Oh, well, you know what? That's great. But I can help you. I'll give you money." No, no, no. You just need advice. So getting with an organization, a team, and networking can be an organization, but you have to be very cautious because confidentiality is really important. I belong to a couple of organizations, EO, YPO. And the purpose of that, and I've been a 25-year member, is about young entrepreneurs getting together and working together through the commonality of entrepreneurship, because we all have the same problems, wealth, and mindset, and we have the same problems with taxing our families and stuff. But you're not allowed to sell to each other, but you're able to share your gifts and abilities back with each other so that you can grow, because their experience sharing and my experience sharing will grow. And I've been a member like for 25 years in EO and stuff. So look it up, and when people are seeing this, and I found that's our greatest gift is as entrepreneurs is associate with other entrepreneurs that are in the same mindset as you. Yes, you have friends. We appreciate your friends, but they're not you. They're not an entrepreneur. And you'll find as you get more successful, as you become better at what you're doing, you will have less friends. It gets lonely at the top. And why is it lonely? Because you're asking yourselves better questions. You're opening up humanity to yourself because you're feeling it in here that you are now the leader and people need to be led. And the thing is that friendship, and it's lonely at the top. As you get there, it becomes very, very few. And you need to be associating yourselves with those people that are lonely. And you're not going to be partying. You're not going to be I'm sure people do that now. But if you really want to be the 1% of the 1%, it's lonely, but it's okay because we are here to make it better for everybody else. That's why we have 100 employees. That's why we do this. They rely on us to be great. That's the greatest gift of as an entrepreneur.
So my next question was going to be why be an entrepreneur? Why be one? But you kind of closed with that part. So okay,
Yeah,
awesome. Got a two for there. I like that. How can curiosity drive success in business and entrepreneurship?
it's the thing you know that you don't know. Curiosity is one of the greatest gifts you'll ever know as a human being. And if you really want to deep dive curiosity, if you want to be successful, everything that you do is about curiosity, asking ourselves better questions. Nobody in life, and I'll tell you, you may have some problems with work, or you may have some problems with your wife, or you may have problems with a business colleague, or trying to close a sale, this guy. Nobody ever wants to fail. So what's the key component? Curiosity. What's the key component to curiosity in all these things that are failing? It just means you didn't ask the right question. So when you're asking a question, you're looking in your head and you're saying, okay, this is what I want to know. I got to have this. But be curious about that. Say, well, let me be curious and say, let me put myself on the other side. If I were to ask myself that same question and being curious, and curiosity is the most important thing, and it turns around and asks ourselves a better question. And I call it, it's the things you know that you don't know. What do you know? So what happens is that curiosity box opens up and you're able to ask yourself a better question. Now, because of technology, because where we're at AI, great example of curiosity. Go to AI, think of that same question you're going to ask this other person question or anything. Ask AI the same question, and then get it to ask you the question back. And then do that conversation back and forth to each other. And then all of a sudden, I always go back to say, you don't know you're in jail until you break out. You don't know you asked the right question until the question's asked. Well, what is the right question? Well, the right question is asking yourself a better question. And I'll go back to Simon Sinek says the why. Okay, this why. Okay, what's your other why? What's your other why? What's your other why? I understand that until you have no more whys. But the thing is, just ask yourself a better question. Is that how you would answer it? And always take life with curiosity. If you can open it up with curiosity, you can create more wealth, more health, and more mindset. And I always go back to the same thing, wealth, health, mindset, because curiosity opens your mind to curiosity opens up to mindset, which keeps you focused and determined on what you're going to do, and it just opens up everything in life. And curiosity, it's if you don't have curiosity, you become pretty stagnant. Like you're not going to go to the next level. And I would say curiosity is one of the most important things that, as a human being, we should have.
Yep, curiosity strikes creativity, which creates something new, and that's where entrepreneurship should come from. Is I'm adding value.
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to be him, because he's going to do a better job of being him than I am. So be curious. I like that. So something we haven't got to, but I was really curious, to ask,
Yeah, yeah.
what are some of the key elements of building a diverse investment portfolio?
Well, it depends what you call investment. Now, let's talk about this. Are you about money? Okay, so an investment portfolio case, if I'm a numbers guy. So I'll give you an example. My investment portfolios, I don't track it. Okay. Example. Podcasting. I'll use this as where I'm at. I have never ever watched my own podcast, and I've never ever watched a podcast. Okay. And why is that? Because I have to go with what truly feels special to me and what's inside. Now, an investment portfolio, and I say, well, do you want to invest over here, over here? I have taken out the investment side of it and about what does it take to live a great life. The money will always follow. The money always comes because when all of a sudden when we talk about investment for, yes, I want this to be successful. Is it profitable? Yes, I want it to be. Yes, we do it. But we actually go by how does it make you feel? Now, does it get you rich in the meantime? Oh, maybe, maybe not. That's why I've taken businesses up, lost them, taken them down, lost them, made money, but I never ever really tracked it because the bottom line is what do I feel internally to grow? Like I did as an entrepreneur, I would do a lot of risk. So people would say, "Can you do the business here? Let's do this business plan of do this," and I would go, "I'm not going to do a business plan to that." And you know why I don't do a business plan to that? Is that because if I were to pull the numbers, it's not going to make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's going to fail. But as an entrepreneur, sometimes the numbers, now remember, numbers don't lie. Okay, you're gonna have numbers, how much in, how much out. But the big factor that you can't is the heart of the individual as the entrepreneur, the gifts and ability. Does he work hard? Do you do it? You have to go by what's feeling inside, and then you're gonna trial and error and make it happen. Sometimes you got to sometimes all the time you take the risk to go after it. If you're following the money, go buy a job and do it. Portfolio and say, I'm going to invest over here and do this. No, every investment that I do, I invest back into myself. People would say, well, don't you want to go over here and invest over in that part? Why? If this company that I own over here is having troubles, I'm going to be pulling that money out and putting it over here to help it. Oh, then am I going to sell that to do this? No, I'm going to do it because I love the game. I love the process of building as an entrepreneur. What does it take to go to the next level, to the next? Yeah, but you could lose everything. You know what? I could actually get cancer tomorrow, and if I don't have my health, then what do I have? Nothing. There's that guy on the shoulder. Get rid of him, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, but money's the most important thing. No, it's not. Everything that you do in life should be about what it feels like to feel good. Integrity is important. Okay, money will follow you. If you've got that idea as an entrepreneur and you're going to grow, don't worry, it'll come. You may pivot and go into this direction and this direction. That's okay. But have it inside that you truly believe what you can do. Now, you may not love what you're doing over there, but you'll love the process. That's the coolest thing you'll ever have. And as entrepreneurs, especially, we move as fast as our sheeples. We watch what it is. It's easy to be great. Just do it. And you can't fail. There isn't anything that I hadn't failed. Yes, that's not true. Sorry. I fail in a lot of things all the time. But the thing about it is I don't look at it as a failure because I fail all the time. And it's about as soon as you hit down, it's like, oh, okay, let's get back up. Let's do that again. That was kind of cool. That felt really yucky. that was gross. I'm not going to do that again. I'm actually going to try something a little different on this time, this approach. Okay, what does that look like? Wow, that was cool. Well, that's not going to work. Let's just close that down and move over here. Don't fall in love with it, because remember, it's just a job. People get hooked at, oh, I've been doing this for 25 years and it's a family generation. It's just a job. It's just a job. Go over here. That's all it has. One of the greatest things that I really, as an entrepreneur, okay, a lot of people can't do this. As an entrepreneur, this is really important. I do not work, and I have multiple businesses. I do a lot of different things, but I do not work past 2 o'clock. Okay. From 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock is gym time. Okay. I only do gym time during work hours. And why is that? Because gym time and work time is like a job. So it's like a board meeting. It's like anything you do. Your health, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So I make sure I schedule it during work hours, because it doesn't matter. I'm always going to be busy. There's never a time for everything. There's never no time. It's always, we're always too busy. We're all this. No, put your fitness during your work hours. Like I said, for 2 to 4 o'clock, that's my gym time. And that's all I do. I even have some people, if they want to join me for meetings, they actually have to come to the gym. What? I got to go to the gym and work out. I said, that's where I'm at. I said, my health is so important to me that I need to be here for tomorrow. I need to be the next day. And if you're willing to come, have a meeting with me. And man, do you feel great when you're in that environment. And entrepreneurs, you schedule yourself in there. That's who you are. You will grow 10 times more than all of a sudden you're working 180 hours a week doing this and getting stressed and doing this. No, take your time, enjoy it. Work will always be there. COVID gave us that example that you didn't have to be on time once COVID hit. All of a sudden you were allowed to be late for this, you're allowed to be late for that. It kind of opened that Pandora box for everybody in COVID to say, all right, it's okay to be late. It's okay to be that. And it was, oh, now it's okay to work from home. It's okay to do that. Okay, it's okay. And then all of a sudden people came up with a different scenario and going, well, I used to work out at the gym. This is the way things had to be. COVID hit. It redeveloped the landscape. And now as entrepreneurs, we're able to, let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. Let's do this. And is there a book that says this is the best way? Only you, as an entrepreneur inside, truly knows what you're writing. Only you can decide how great you're going to be today. As I'd always say is, if you want to have a great day, only you can decide. And then as an entrepreneur, it is the greatest day every day.
Again, I really liked all of that. There was one thing you said that really struck home and had my mind kind of going there for a minute. Failing. You're going to fail as an entrepreneur because you don't know what you don't know. You're going to learn. You're going to learn one of two ways. You're going to either pay somebody to teach you, or you're going to learn through failure. And failure's the freebie. You failed. Okay, you don't have to pay to learn that now. You already got it. So I really like that. Awesome. We went over a lot of great things. There's a lot to digest here, so I'm gonna have to think about it for a while, and I'm definitely gonna have to go back and take notes and watch it again. But what do you want to close on? What is there anything that we missed that we really put the cherry on top with this?
The biggest thing, well, actually, no, I don't think we missed a lot. We missed anything. We can go on forever because with my years of experience over 25 years, 25, 26, 27 years, and multiple business that I've owned. And the greatest thing that I've always seen as young entrepreneurs is the act of not doing. And I really push people to push their limits to do it now. I do a podcast called Shed Talk with Kevin Halliday. And then I have obviously Spindle Stairs and Railings and stuff that I do. But what was interesting, when people are out there and wherever they're at right now, whatever your name is, John Doe, John Smith, whatever your names are, first question to ask yourself, and this is really important, Google your name. Google your name as whatever your name is and look at it. Who comes up? What does come up? Okay. Can you actually own your domain? First thing and foremost, that you're going to ask yourself, remember that one thing that I told you at the beginning of this episode, I said to yourself, what was the one thing that you did 5 years ago that was so small that you would say to yourself today, wow, I'm so glad I did that. And what's that thing today that you're going to say, thank God 5 years from now that you're glad you did it? Mine is that I took my name, Kevin Halliday, and I put a .com on it. I bought the .com 25 years ago, and I bought all my kids' .coms 25 years ago when it first came out. Fast forward to today, okay, here I am, and I did 5 years ago, and I always tell anybody, build your personal brand. Your brand, you have companies, you work for this, you do this, you do this, you do this, all this in a bag of chips. do yourself. Be you. So if your name, I'll use mine, kevinhalliday.com. If I were to anywhere in the world, if I type my name in, the brand is kevinhalliday.com. I become a brand worldwide of anything that I want to be. So that was the one thing that I started. So as you starting off, or anybody starting off, first and foremost, look at yourself and how do you brand yourself for the future of what you're going to be. Be internalized, and then you will be that of everybody.
So you might have answered this next question already as well, but how can people find you? Where can they get a hold of you?
Oh, you know what? The best way to get a hold of me is go Kevin Halliday, Google me. This is the fun part. This is so cool. Just Google me. I won't be in your cache. I won't be anything. And then when you see, just go Kevin Halliday, and you'll get 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of everything that I do and contact. When you see that and go, you can be that. That's all you have to be. And then that's where the contact comes in. Ask me any question you want, come on board, and then say, hey, I wanted to know a little bit more about this. My doors are always open. And by the way, there's no such thing as too busy. Okay, so keep that in mind. When somebody asks you a question, oh, hey, how are you doing? Oh, I'm really busy. Wrong answer. This is where curiosity comes in. Make sure that you're saying, no, things are good. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. And then all of a sudden you open that door. Because as soon as somebody says to you, hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm really busy. What you did is you just closed the door. You closed the door in conversation, you closed the door in curiosity, and you closed your door on the sale. Be open, be accepted, and grow with everybody.
Perfect. If anybody would like to learn more about Kevin, do that. Absolutely do that. Reach out, take a look, listen to the things that he said, listen to his podcast. Uh, Go back and listen to this one again because just like me, you didn't catch all of it. There's a lot in there. So go back with it with fresh ears and give it another listen. Absolutely do that. If anybody out there would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to the newsletter, and connect with our growing community. If someone would like to be interviewed, or if you yourself would like to be interviewed, you can apply on the website as well. But Kevin, I really appreciated everything you said. It was fantastic. I really thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with us. I hope everybody else got as much out of it as it did for me. But let's all go out there, have an awesome day, and grow our circle. All right.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, awesome.